cat break. Hi. Hi. Yeah, you could definitely see him. So, hi everyone. Welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. My name's Shannon. If you don't know who I am and this is your first video, backtrack to some of my other videos. You'll understand a little bit more about me. You'll either absolutely love me or absolutely hate me, apparently, because that's how it goes with people who watch my videos according to the comment section or just the feedback that I get in general. Where do I even start? So I sat down today with the intention of filming a couple of different videos, and I still am not really sure what kind of video I'm filming or what even to title this video. Oh god. So I'm sorry that I'm really bad at uploading. Like I said, I sat down with the intention of making this video today, but I don't even know what I'm gonna call it or where I'm going to go in this video. I guess I'm gonna ramble a little bit because I don't really know what else to make a video about, because this is just part of my life currently, you know? So while sitting here trying to start filming this video, my brain is really scrambled just thinking about all there is to talk about in this subject. And it's just a really like, it's very personal, but I've already shared the most personal part of my life on this channel, and it's extremely hard to go through what I'm going through and be in the place where I am being a mom. And I don't say that, I don't know how else to explain it. So I obviously have two kids. I have AJ, who's going to be 6 in July, and Reinhardt, who's going to be 2 in June. I'm sorry if you hear noise over there. My cat is very antsy all the time. He's got a lot of energy. So I don't know how many other young parents actually follow my channel. I know there is a lot of you. I know there is a lot of young moms who subscribe and they watch my videos, and a lot of times people talk in the comments about how inspirational I am, and just they tell me their stories, and it's so amazing to see all of the other young parents, young moms even, out there that just are in similar situations to me or in less than ideal situations that I am in, and it just reminds me of how lucky I am for my situation to have turned out how it is. But being a parent, especially a young parent, I've noticed, a lot of times there's a lot of postpartum depression in young moms. And with postpartum depression, sometimes you develop anxiety or you have anxiety, and it's crazy that depression rates and anxiety rates in young adults and teenagers are so much higher than they used to be, because there's this huge world like surrounding it, and there's so much, you're able to freely talk about it more today than you were when, say, my mom was a teenager. It's not far-fetched for a teenager or a young adult to be depressed or have anxiety or have ADD or ADHD or OCD or have any kind of mental illness or disorder or anything of the sort. It's not far-fetched anymore. It's more and more common than most people think, and there's so much research surrounding it. So when I talk about this, it's not searching for attention, obviously. I mean, if I wanted attention, I'd be exposing my children all over the internet, which I like to keep their exposure all over the internet to a minimum. I don't like sharing my children everywhere, if that makes sense. That's a whole nother story though. See, I told you guys I'd start rambling. I don't know how much I'm gonna actually edit this video, just because I want to keep it mostly raw and uncut. Just anyway. So talking about this, like I said, is extremely hard. I'm sitting here scatterbrained. It's a lot. So when I had AJ, everything was fine, and a few years down the line, I think it was 2014, he was 2 by then, I ended up being diagnosed with manic depression and general anxiety. And I grew up in a family where every time something would happen, and it was generalized around my depression or my anxiety, like, let's say, going to public school with my situation. So it always turned into my parents being, especially my dad. Now, I love my parents, please don't take this as me bashing my parents, but it just really contributed a lot to everything. So when I would bring up how the subject related to my depression and my anxiety and how they weren't really helpful to helping me, they weren't really helpful, and they just always talked about, well, just go to counseling, just, you know, this, like, just talking about, like, I need to go to counseling. And especially my dad, he would tell me about how he was depressed and he sucked it up and he just got better, and that it's bullshit and, like, it's all in my head and I'm doing it to myself, and just, like, all of that. It wasn't, they weren't helpful ever about it. And oh god, I don't want to cry. Just, like, talking about it, it just makes me want to cry a lot, because anyway. So dealing with that and having a child, there was a lot that was said to me about it. It really, really made me feel selfish for feeling the way I did. Because I had AJ, you know, this healthy, beautiful 2-year-old. He was so smart and so perfect in every single way. And I loved him more than I could ever love anyone. They just made me feel so selfish and stupid for feeling that way, you know? And a lot of my family did, because a lot of people just don't understand when someone has all of these things going for them, and just, they don't see why someone could be depressed. They see it as not a chemical imbalance in your brain. They see it as, well, you have all of these things, there's no reason you should be sad. But it's not just being sad. It's not. It's feeling like sometimes you can't get out of bed even though you see your kids sitting there wanting to do stuff with you, and just, you can't. Or being as young as I am and being a young mom, and you go to public school and you just can't get out of bed in the morning, and you just don't want to go because everyone, you just feel like the world hates you because of your situation. Being a young mom, everyone has something to say, whether positive or negative, everyone has something to say. And more often than not, it's negative, and it really, really gets to you a lot. Now, this was obviously when I was younger. I feel very different about my situation now, but depression just doesn't go away just because you get older, you know? And then a lot of things had happened in my life between now and then. Obviously, I had another kid. I moved out on my own. But it's not easy being a young parent, especially a young adult, who has depression and has anxiety and has so much going on. And, like, there's a lot. Who has so much going on. It's hard. And then when I had Reinhardt, not only did I have my manic depression and my general anxiety, I ended up getting postpartum depression somehow. And I wanted Reinhardt so much. I was so in love with him. I was so in love with being a mom. But I absolutely hated myself for so long. I hated everything about me. I hated everything. I just didn't want, it came to the point where I just didn't want to be alive anymore. And I hate saying that because I have these beautiful kids, and I just still can't help but feel selfish for ever feeling that way, because looking at them every single day, my beautiful, beautiful kids that I love more than anything. And to feel like you just don't want to do it anymore. It sucks. Because you just feel defeated. And you feel like your kids deserve so much more than that. You feel like they deserve a mom who doesn't feel that way. And you just can't help but feel the way you do. Well, I didn't have much insurance coverage then, so I couldn't talk to a counselor or a therapist or get on medicine for my depression and my anxiety anymore, so it just got worse. And it's extremely hard to deal with all of that, especially being so young and not knowing the right sources to look for help, and just being too scared to admit that you need someone to talk to about it. It's hard. It's extremely hard. And sometimes you don't want help. And sometimes when you're so anxious about something like that, you worry about what people will think, and just you worry. It's so much, and that's obviously a common trend with anxiety, and I know I'm being very general, but there's some things I still can't and won't publicly talk about, that what happened to me and what I've done, and just there's some things that I just won't talk about yet, that I'm not quite there with myself or even like my friends and family, so especially not on the internet. But it was extremely hard. I hate crying. I'm gonna have such a bad headache later because I'm crying. But so feeling like all of that, and just, you become this hollow shell of a person. And eventually I got to the point where I just with all of that, I was stumbling through life, and it all just felt the same, you know? You just start to feel like this hollow shell of a person who happens to be raising kids when you are depressed and you have kids, and you really start to fail as a parent, because it will and does get to that point for a lot of people who suffer from postpartum depression, or dads who just are depressed and they have kids, especially single parents. You know, life really takes a toll on you, especially when you're so young, because you aren't cut out today's day and age to be a parent so young. You just aren't. Society doesn't work like that. It's not even that it's frowned upon or anything like that. You have so much else that you need to also be doing with your life. That is so much harder when you have kids. So being depressed and being anxious and having this mountain on your plate that you just can't finish, it's so much. And it just makes everything so much worse. And it's not a subject that people talk about a lot. It's not, and it's because a lot of young parents don't talk about this. And so going forward, with my depression and with my anxiety and just absolutely hating myself, I eventually developed an eating disorder. And what do you know? Oh my God, it was horrible. I don't really want to show pictures from anything. I try to keep any pictures from when I was extremely thin from the internet in general. And I try to keep as many pictures from when I was larger after I had Reinhardt. I'm sorry that I'm like kind of laughing. I'm crying and I'm trying not to cry. So I try to keep any pictures from when I was larger, from after I had Reinhardt, and from when I was extremely thin and looked sick from the internet. I keep them all on my phone in like a safe, like one of those photo safes, because I don't want anyone to see them ever again. I've only probably shown one person how bad and drastically different it was. So with that eating disorder, a lot had happened to me. I was working at Chipotle Mexican Grill, and everyone knows what Chipotle is. So I was working there, and being an anorexic and being a bulimic and working around food all goddamn day, it slowly starts to really eat at you. No pun intended there. It really destroys your mental health. And it got to the point where I end up in the hospital a few times about it, and I don't really know if I told my parents about this or not. I tried to keep them separate from a lot of this, and that's just because they weren't understanding about everything. And I'm gonna get so many calls from them later. I'm gonna get a call or a message from my mom, and I already don't want to answer it because I feel horrible talking about this or talking about them in this video, but I don't mean anything bad against them. I do love my parents. They are extremely helpful outside of this subject. They really, really are. They are some of the best parents. But, so recently, in the last few months, between my best friend and my child's father, I've been very honest with them about my eating disorder, and I've been honest about everything. I don't even want to put this in the video. I don't want to put this in the video at all. So in turn, with absolutely hating myself and my depression and my anxiety and postpartum depression and just all of it, I developed an eating disorder along the lines after I had Reinhardt. I was a lot larger after I had Reinhardt, and I hated that. I hated it. I hated myself for it. I hated everything. I don't even know how else to explain it. So it wasn't just gradual. It wasn't an overtime thing. I just up and stopped eating. I would eat like a bowl of Special K in the morning and have a glass of like milk and Nesquik, because Nesquik is high in iron, so I wouldn't feel sick from having low iron. And sometimes that was it. That's it, like bowl of Special K and low-fat milk and a cup of milk with Nesquik, and I drink water the rest of the day. I lived at my boyfriend's parents' house at the time. Now, a lot of times I was heavily mistaken for an extremely picky eater. Now, with an eating disorder, you obviously seem very picky, but it wasn't just me being picky, it was me finding any reason to not eat. It was bad, and then sometimes I would go on binges and I would eat plate after plate after plate, and that, we know how that turns out with someone who has eating disorders. And it's just bad. And I ended up losing a lot of weight, but that's not the right way to lose weight, obviously, and I knew that. I knew it wasn't the right way to lose weight, but just when you see results, when you are so damaged, and I hate saying that, I hate calling myself, I'm so anxious just talking about this, and I'm playing with a hair tie. I'm sorry if you see my arms moving a lot. I have chills now. I hate saying that. I hate calling myself damaged. But it's for lack of a better term. And just you see those results at such a young age when you're depressed and when you're anxious and this and that, and with just my circumstances, it was so easy to throw myself into it because I felt happy with how I started to look. And when you're so sad or empty or you just don't feel anything, it's so easy to cling to something that makes you feel happy. It's so easy. And so it just spiraled, and Reinhardt's almost 2 now, and in like December it got really, really bad. I mean, I dropped from 130 when people started, like, I was 130 pounds, like 135 pounds when people noticed that I lost weight from after Reinhardt. I was 135 pounds when people noticed. And in November and December, I was 102 pounds at one point, and I remember being 97.8 pounds. And I mean, that was horrible. None of my clothes fit anymore. None of them. I was wearing leggings every day because I couldn't fit jeans or any of my other pants in t-shirts that looked big on me. And it sucked a lot. It sucked a lot because I had kids and I have cellulite on my legs and I have some stretch marks on my legs. So I remember being as low in weight as I was. Now I'm 5'4", I believe, 5'3", 5'4". I was 97 pounds at one point, almost 98 pounds. You can just tell how bad that was, especially from when people had noticed how much weight I lost, and when people had noticed that I was starting to lose weight, I was 135. So that's a big jump. That's almost a 40-pound jump. So I was wearing these shirts that just looked big on me. I was wearing yoga pants and leggings every day, so the only things that I had that fit me. So back to talking about my legs, with the cellulite and the stretch marks, even though I was as underweight and small as I would still look at my legs a lot. And I just couldn't help but find more and more wrong with me that I wanted to change. And I still felt like I looked huge. And it was just the cycle of I start losing weight and I'm happy because I'm losing weight, and I would look at myself for a few minutes or just a glimpse, and I just for a moment I felt happy with how I looked, and then it's like I look away and then I look back and I feel huge again. And it was one thing after another, and if it wasn't one thing that was wrong, I found another thing that was wrong and another thing that was wrong. And being a mom, that's not fair to my kids to be slowly killing myself like that, because there's no doubt that when you have an eating disorder that just spirals so bad that you are slowly killing yourself, there's no doubt about it. And it's not fair. And not that feeling that way about yourself isn't, but I have two beautiful kids that love me more than they love anything. And I love them so much. So for me to be doing that to myself all the time, over and over and over again, and to just not care about how I wound up, it just wasn't okay anymore. And so I wanted to get help. I did. I got to the point where I wanted to get help. And I don't want to talk about all of that, because there's a lot more to that than I think I could deal with talking about right now. And there's a lot of that I haven't talked to some people that I'm extremely close with, like my family, about, so I don't want to talk about that publicly yet. But just you feel like you don't have these options. You feel like there can't be anything wrong with you when you have kids. Especially when you're so young, because there's so much that's expected of you. You're expected to go to school and get your diploma and work and be on your own and go to college today. Like in 2018, that's what's expected of you, but you're also raising kids at the same time. There's no time for you to be depressed. There's no time for you to be anxious about something with all of, when you have so much more on your plate. There's no time for you to have an eating disorder because you hate how you look after you have kids. And it just sucks, because at this age, with everything being expected of you and also raising kids, it doesn't feel right to feel the way that you feel. It doesn't feel right. And it doesn't feel like you even deserve. And I hate saying that, but it doesn't feel like you deserve to feel depressed, because you have so much else to worry about. And your life could be so much worse. That's at least for me. I can't speak for everyone. It's all I could feel. It's all I could feel, but I also still couldn't get out of bed sometimes. And I still couldn't eat lunch dinner. And you start to be a bad parent. And when you stop caring about yourself, it's not that you stop caring about them, it's just, it starts to affect how you take care of your kids. And there needs to stop being the stigma that parents can't feel that way. There needs to stop being so much surrounding that. It's not even that, it's just there needs to be more help readily available for people in situations like mine. Like, yes, obviously the world shouldn't cater to anyone. I get that. I don't want to see any of those comments like you aren't entitled to help or you aren't entitled to anything. Like, I get it. I know. Like, don't get me wrong. But it just sucks when you don't know where to turn for help. It just really, really sucks when you don't know. And I just want this video at least to turn into a way for me to at least be able to help people, because I know I list my business email in the description and my Instagram and my Snapchat, but if you ever feel like you need someone to talk to, please just get a hold of me and we together can try to figure something out for you, because I especially know how much it sucks. And I know how much it hurts and how it feels. And I've been there and I've done that. And there's one thing I'm willing to do, it's help someone else who is in my situation, or maybe not my situation, just that needs help. I have a bigger heart than I do anything else. But if anyone ever wants to talk after watching this video and it makes you want to talk to someone, or it makes you want to let your story be heard, please just get a hold of me somehow. Because especially if you don't know where to turn, at least you found this video, you know, because I'm somewhere that you can turn. Like I said, God, I'm sorry. I don't even know if I'm going to post this video, but I wanted to sit down and film, because I have 5,000 people out there that want to see more of me and more of my life. And I know it sounds stupid, but they cared enough to continue listening to my story. 5,000 people cared enough to continue listening to me talk. And it's just hard for me to wrap my head around, because you know when you hate the sound of your own voice, I can't imagine anyone else wanting to hear me. But I wanted to sit down and film a video, or at least edit this, maybe post it. And if I post it, then that's a big deal to me. I can't stand the thought of someone else feeling the way that I do, or have, and I can't stand the thought of someone feeling like they don't have anyone that they can talk to about it. I was lucky that I had a best friend that I could talk to about it. I was so lucky. And I was lucky that I could be honest with the people I worked with, my boss, about it, and so I could get time away from work. I was blessed with that. And it's just a lot, you know? Like I said, I'm just rambling because I'm really scatterbrained trying to film this, but I really don't know what else to film. This is really, besides my kids, the only relevant thing happening to me. And I'm obviously not a viral YouTuber. I can't just film dumb videos. Not that they're dumb, because I can't just film whatever I want, even if I don't even know what to film. But I feel like this serves as not an excuse, but understanding enough as to why I don't post so much. I have a lot going on. I'm trying, and I want to build this YouTube channel. I want this to be made into something, at least more than me, if that makes sense. I want this channel to grow and continue to grow and build support, because I have made a lot of friends through this channel, internet friends. And it's so nice to have an internet family. And I hate saying that, but it's true. It's different when you have 5,000 people standing behind you. And it's crazy when you have all of these people messaging you and emailing you and Snapchatting you about how much they support you and they care about you and telling you their stories. It's crazy to wrap your head around. I have goosebumps talking about it. Oh God. But I'm sorry if this is a really, really long video. I appreciate you taking time to watch it. If you need someone to talk to, just talk to me. I have no problem talking to anyone. I check my Instagram DMs regularly and my Snapchats regularly, and anyone can send me a message on Snapchat, and my email is right there. Anyone can email you. If you need to talk to me, just talk to me. If you want to talk to me, just talk to me, because I'm here. So be sure to subscribe if you'd like. Comment video ideas. Follow my Instagram, add my Snapchat. I'll put all of it at the end of the video, linked in the description. Sorry if today's video bothers you at all. Have a great night, everyone. I'll see you guys next time.